Hello and welcome back to Something C, and welcome back to What If Deku had a Crying Quirk Part 3. Last time on the What If, Izuku and Ochako won the Heroes vs Villains practice, so let's get back into the What If. Right after All Might said the hero team won, Izuku got some tissues and wiped the tears from his eyes, and he got some of his air freshener and sprayed the tissue and right under his eyes so he can nullify his quirk. In a matter of a minute, the smell of the tears disappeared, and the onions started to lose their effect on Izuku's eyes, and everyone in the building leaves in a better condition than they were in the cannon. So we skip to a couple hours after the practice, and it's the end of the school day. And after the practice, Izuku was able to tell that something was wrong with Bako. And when he left early, Izuku was able to tell he needed to help him at that moment. So when he was able to catch up to Bako, he was already outside the school and in front of the front gate. Bako, are you okay? Damn it, Deku! How did you become so much stronger than me in such a short amount of time? And how did you throw that ball so far? Have you been holding back on me? Bako, I haven't held back on you. I've just met someone that has helped me to get where I am now. And he was the one who gave me this power. I'm trying to make it my own. What are you talking about? Giving you power? Never mind. Doesn't matter. You may have won today, Deku, but next time, I'm going to leave you in my dust. Then he leaves. So we skip to the next day during homeroom for class 1A. Mr. Aizawa announces that he will decide on the class rep. After the announcement, the whole class is filled with the sound of the whole class wanting to be class rep. They eventually decide to do a vote to choose who will be class rep. And at the end of the vote, Midoriya and Momo were chosen to be class rep and deputy rep. So we skip to lunchtime and Zuko and Ochako are eating when they hear an alarm go off. And when they look around the cafeteria, they see everyone around them start to run towards the exit. When they finally get the attention of a nearby person, they find out that the alarm is actually the security alarm, and that means someone got past the defense and they should go now. When they get to the exit, the hallway is full of people who could not move an inch. When the street got half towards the exit door, they just slammed up against a glass wall, and when he looks outside, he sees that there are only reporters. He does then gets the attention of Ochako, who makes him float, and he uses his engine quirk to fly onto an emergency exit sign. Calm down, everyone. Look outside. There aren't any villains. After he said that, most of the students that were pushing and shoving each other stop and look out the window, and they only see a crowd of reporters. So we skip to when it's the next class, and Midoriya announces that he will step down from being class rep and give his title to Ida because of what happened less than an hour ago. Ida then accepts the title. So now we skip to the next day when it's homeroom. Aizawa tells the kids to go get dressed in their hero costumes because they will be taking a trip to the USJ, and when they get to the USJ, they are greeted by the Pro Heroes 13. Hello students, welcome to the USJ, and here you will learn how to use your quirks to save people's lives. And when she finishes speaking, the lights inside the USJ start to flash on and off, and when they look at the plaza, they see a giant portal, and the first person to come out is a guy with bluish gray hair, and the second there was a guy covered in black smoke. And the third thing that came out of the portal was this giant bird monster that's brain was visible. And right after the third thing leaves the portal, the plaza gets filled with villains, one after the other. And after a couple minutes, all the villains walked out of the portal and they closed the portal behind. 13, grab the students and go. I'll come back. Then Aizawa jumped down the stairs and started to beat up the villain. When the students started to run back up to the doors, the shadow villain flew at them and started to surround them. It seems he's not here. He was supposed to be teaching today. When the villain completely surrounded them, Bako and Kirishima launched themselves at the villain, trying to cause damage to him, but it had no effect. After the two landed from their attacks, the shadow villain started to teleport the class to different areas that are the same as they were in the canon. So when Izuku can finally see clearly again, he is underwater. And when he tries to figure out where exactly he is, he notices a villain that looks like a shark trying to swim towards him. And before the shark guy could bite him, Tsuyu landed on the villain's head and grabbed Midoriya onto a nearby ship. And after a minute of Zuko being on the ship, Mineta was flung onto the boat by Sue. Why do you think their villains are here?
Well, the villain that teleported us here said he wasn't here, so maybe they're trying to go for All Might.
But why would they attack All Might? Does that mean they have a way to defeat him? Mineta, calm down. Right now we can't worry about that. We have to find a way out. Then they explain their quirks to each other, and they come to the conclusion that the villains have no idea what their quirks are because they would have sent Sue to a fire area instead of a place filled with water. So they come up with a plan to get off the boat, not to land. So Izuku jumped off the boat and used One for All and launched Delaware Smash on the water, creating a sinkhole. And before the boat gets destroyed, Sue grabs Midoriya and jumps to land, and Mineta uses his quirk to stick the villains together. When they get to land, Aizawa is at the plaza fighting the person who looks like was in charge of the attack. But in the matter of a minute, Aizawa Aizawa gets taken down by the weird bird monster. After Aizawa's head got pounded on the floor, the guy next to the Nomu gets alerted by the shadow villain that they accidentally let one of the students escape and they will most likely bring reinforcements. After the hand guy gets the news, he notices the 3 students in the water, and he rushes at Sue, and he tries to use his quirk on her head. That would have killed her, but Aizawa was able to look at the hand guy deactivating his quirk. Still protecting these children, even though you're that enough, that's impressive. Nomu! He then snaps his fingers, and the bird monster smashes Eraserhead's head back on the ground, knocking him out. When the hand guy was distracted with Eraserhead, Izuku handed Mineta and Sue a pair of nose plugs, and he told them to put them in. When the hand villain looked back at the students again, Izuku sprayed his eyes with the onion spray and started to cry, activating his quirk. And the second Shigaraki smelled the tears, he started to cry, and his eyes were starting to close on their own. He then backs away and notices that with every step, he can see clearer and clearer. And then Izuku started to charge at Shigaraki, and he prepared to punch him, losing one for all. But before he landed the punch, the Nomu was standing where Shigaraki was just a second ago, and Izuku notices that his arm isn't broken like last time. And Shigaraki made use of the portals by putting himself as far as possible without going out the portal's reach, so he can still attack Izuku without having to worry about his vision. The next couple of minutes is just the 3 students having to dodge the hands of Shigaraki. Then they hear booms that makes the flurry attack stop, and when they look to see where the sound came from, they see All Might. All Might then sees Eraserhead being knocked out, and he rushes as fast as he can. And he picks up the 3 students and Eraserhead and brings them a good 20 feet away from where they were. And Izuku wipes the tears by deactivating his quirk. All Might, I used my smash attack and it didn't seem to work on the Nomu, so please be careful. Don't worry, young Midoriya. I got this, but take Eraserhead out of here. And then he dashes back at the plaza. The 3 then grab Eraserhead by his limbs and start to carry him to the stairs. After a couple of minutes of carrying Aizawa, Izuku decides to go back to the plaza when he sees All Might slowly sinking into a portal while holding the Nomu in a suplex. When he got back to the plaza, Bako and Kirishima were holding the shadow villain, while Todoroki was freezing Nomu's right leg. Wow, students, you've done good work today by not dying so far, but you're not out of danger yet. Nomu, get up! The Nomu then broke free from the ice, causing it to get injured, but in a matter of a couple seconds, it regenerated its leg. And when it was fully healed, the Nomu rushes at Bako, trying to save Kurogiri. And before the Nomu hit Bako, Bako seemed to have teleported right next to Izuku. And when they looked to where Bako used to stand a couple of seconds ago, All Might standing there. And then All Might and the Nomu start to charge at each other. And when they clash, they both punch each other in the chest. And they have a fist fight. With every punch, there was a shockwave that could be felt from a distance. And after a couple minutes, All Might was able to get the upper hand. 300's punch, he was able to launch Nomu through the USJ and create a huge hole through the ceiling. Hey villain, I took out your Nomu, so now you're finished. Sir, it seems that All Might is weakened. We can still complete the job. When the hand villain heard that, he started to rush at All Might. Izuku then used One for All to launch himself at the villain, and before he hit Shigaraki, Kurogiri created a portal in front of Izuku, and he almost got hit by Shigaraki using his quirk. But before Shigaraki hit Izuku, Shigaraki was shot by a bullet, and when they look to see where it came from, they see the teachers of UA and Ida at the entrance. Shigaraki, seeing he can't win, tells Kurogiri to create a portal out of there, and before he leaves he says, "You may have won this time, All Might, but next time, the League of Villains will kill you." And then they close the portal. Hours later, Izuku and All Might are in the infirmary, getting healed by Recovery Girl, and the cops were able to capture Nomu and restrain it. And that's where I'm going to leave the What If. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time on Something Z.